I want to challenge a phrase today. I want you to take it under consideration, right? The phrase is success leaves clues. My question is, whose success and what clues? And if I find those clues, will they help me be successful? Possibly. What's more accurate is if you spend time looking for your own success and looking through your success, finding your own clues, finding your own trace minerals, finding the things that you need to do for you to make you successful, that means you're going to be more likely to be successful again. Success repeats success. That is repeatable. Success is planned for. Success can be prepared for. But I'm saying to you today, spend some time like the Bitcoin miners. Load up all the computers. Play into all the doggone sources. And dig and find your own success inside of you. Matter of fact, you're not finding it, you're just rediscovering it, you're unearthing it. It's been covered up by life, been covered up by trauma, been covered up by bad people. I'm saying dig deep, dig fast, dig hard, sort it out, and use your own success as your own platform. I'm out.
What is up? What is up? Welcome to King Conversation. I am Mark Wiggins, your host, coming to you live and direct here on the platform. And it's end of the month. I do the King Conversation the last Wednesday of the month, or attempt to get there the last Wednesday of the month. And we are here and coming to the end of June, Father's Day month. You know, we're gonna talk about that. You know, I always have something to say about Father's Day and how we get the shaft on Father's Day. Don't necessarily get the best of anything. So anyway. We will make that happen. But before we get started today, we'll make sure we shout out our sponsor. The show is brought to you by Off the Bench Events. Make sure you join the Facebook group. That is now the ticket spot, the ticket plug for all your events. We partner with Less is More Events to provide. It'd be the ticket plug. We've got shows, we've got events, things coming up. And definitely we're doing a lot of work in Cleveland. I'm reaching out to my home squad. We got stuff for the Browns. We've got some people to the Guardians. I want to say Indians. I can, but that's not what you should be saying. To the Guardians, concerts. Well, we got things coming down the pipe. You all know, B is about to drop her world tour. We will have tickets for that all across the United States. But you need to, be in the loop to know when that drops so we can get them from us. Also, go to our website, offthebenchmagazine.com. Click on the event tab, and then you can put in the show that you want to see. And we'll get you some pricing and get where you want to go. Our prices are going to be better than what you find on Ticketmaster, StubHub, and all that kind of good stuff, because that's what we do, and we're going to make it pop. So also make sure you're subscribing to the magazine. Offthebenchmagazine.com magazine's doing really well. Like I said, we a lot of great content, a lot of great people coming on board. We've met with a lot of great folks and continue to. We got some good stuff coming up for the July issue. Been to a lot of different places. You can probably see me online. Follow us on Instagram, OTB Magazine. I was at the Freedom Fighters in DC event, Sneaker Ball, on this past Saturday. Very, very, very interesting. And good to see the young activists out here doing their doggone thing and recognize the injustice, especially after the monumental pancake flip after 50 years of a decision because someone got attitude came out. They had a lot to say about that. And we're going to hear more from them and keep track. Again, we got to support the next generation of freedom fighters and activists. This is who they are. It's good to see. So I was there. What else did I do? Went to a couple events. Yeah, like I'm out here doing my best life. I'm doing my best business and doing what I can do. But anyway, also sponsor show tonight. You get that on there. 5011. I got 5011 things to do. 5011 Wine is a sponsor of the magazine. You want to check it out. It's started by Kendra Dion, sister out in Loudoun County. She is the first Black female wine maker in Loudoun County. There's another facility down called Sweet Vines. They have a Black vineyard and resort, about 100 acres down in the middle of Virginia. You'll be hearing from her soon. But Kendra's been riding with us for a while in the magazine. She's released some new wines for the summer. Don't ask me. I can't remember off the top of my head, but she is in our magazine. Follow her on Instagram as well at 5011, as it sounds, 5011 Wine. All right, so that's it for the information. We about to roll in tonight, bringing up our guest, my dude. What's up, Mr. Nash?
What's going on, Mr. Wiggins? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing it. I'm doing all right, bro. I'm doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Can't complain. Life is good. Woke up this morning. After that, everything is easy. Right?
Right. Everything is easy. Everything's easy. So what Nash, come on, as you've been following along, we've been doing this for a while. I
Right.
don't do bios. So go ahead and tell the people who you are and what you get into.
All right. Well, Damon Nash, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Right. Me and Wiggins both from the land. Of course, now reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. And really what I'm into now, which is really exciting. I've for years have done public speaking, myself and Mr. Wiggins, right? We have a track record of getting on stage together, right, or separate, um, and, and just kind of bringing that back, but it was with a new energy. So, our company. When I say our, and that's the big thing. It's our company. When I say our, I'm talking about myself and my son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the company I had, influenced me, right? And of course, you can always reach us at influencefundraiser.com. And we'll share that information a little bit later. But my son is now 20 years old, and he's also a graphic design major at North Carolina A&T. So graphic design is his thing, and I looked up, and this dude is actually pretty good. Like, he's in art, music, things of that nature, and it just started to make sense to bring us together, right? So, if I can, Mark, just take a step back as far as where did this come from?
Absolutely.
Being a
Absolutely.
public speaker or a professional speaker, and speaking at events, different colleges, some corporate gigs, middle school, elementary school, high school, on various different topics over the past 20 plus years. One of the things that we were sponsored at certain times through other companies to go in and do these presentations. Some things was, processed directly through my company, right? And so that was, how we were funded, right, to do what we do. But I noticed that on the elementary and middle school, even high school level, they don't have the funds to support a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when I say a speaker, a professional speaker, someone who's been doing this for a while, and that's what we do, right? Not necessarily, nothing against the bank manager down the street to come in and speak to the kids, but they're a bank manager. They're not a professional speaker, but they may have a story to tell, right? So the thought came across because while I'm doing that, I'm also selling positive t-shirts. Been doing that for years. Done the women empowerment, had the kiosk at the mall, right? I've done all those type of events as well, and had some relatively sound success in doing so. Sell them online. So I wanted to bring the two together. I wanted to put a scenario where the schools can bring me in. I can help them raise money, and at no additional cost, I can actually present on bullying. On what I'm working on currently right now is just the idea of I love myself, right? Having our youth with a T-shirt that says "I love being me" or something to that effect, or "Love being me." And so then now I've incorporated. When I say our business and new energy, I incorporated my 20-year-old son, who is now, a director of graphic design for our company, right? To utilize his talents and my talents and mesh those things together so that we can kind of continue to grow. And it's good because he's learning all about the bumps and bruises, the ups and downs, the hard work of being an entrepreneur, right? And again, like I said before earlier, Mr. Wiggins, he's nice with it. He is really nice. So the t-shirts have new designs with the same message, with a new energy, which I really think is going to capture, young ladies, older women's attention, young man, guys our age, Mr. Wiggins. where we're really going to, be able to kind of do some things with it. So I'm really excited. And more importantly than that, or just as important, I'm excited to be on the show. I appreciate you, extending the opportunity for me to kind of speak to you and, of course, your vast audience about, the King conversation. And then in turn, of course, allow us to kind of get a plug in and get our name out because we're about to really launch something big.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Nash is, we've been at this for a long time. I mean, we go so far back. I was thinking about it when I reached out to you. I was like, this is my missing this conversation, and it's J.O., right? That's
no doubt.
We had the whole Mind Now with Sharon Meyer, who was the brain trial of this thing, brain trust of the whole Mind Now thing. People missed that whole sector. They didn't, we weren't flexing like on social media like we were now. And we had this organization called, oh God, what's it called? Moving Forward. Moving forward. Right?
It's Mighty ISIS.
Sharon Meyer. Down in Nashville. And so we had it was actually Nash, Oliver, and Wiggins.
Wiggins.
You know that it's now, and but we had this whole thing. Man, you remember that first? We went to Claflin. To Claflin. Man, that was a trip. We had a whole college gig experience, and it was amazing. It was.
Hold up? Didn't we go to Texas first before Claflin?
You're right. We did go to Texas. We went to Texas first. We went there to the youth workers
something or something to that effect. Yeah.
Right. And Ship was there, Jump Ship, this other guy. And we sat there, and watched this mess. And I'm gonna call it mess because my mama watches. And we all agree, like, we could actually destroy this. Who is this Josh Ship dude? No slack. I mean, it was actually pretty big, actually. But we were like, but there's no reason we couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? We were there. Our response was better. And the other guy was there. The story he told, I'm still scratching my head to this day, Jay. I don't know what he was talking about, Nash. He was all over the map, and the kids were like checking out. We got up and we destroyed it. And I was like,
getting the business.
We were doing the doggone thing. So as we've been speaking for 20 plus years and doing the doggone thing, you were always early on with the because you've been in sales all your, for your most life. So you calling and making cold calls, you selling t-shirts out, selling that training. Everybody had a shirt. What did those early skill sets give you? Those early trainings give you to teach your young king? What are you teaching him now in this process?
Well, I'm teaching them how to build something, right? And when you tie the sales in, and it really goes into, of course, the business, but in life in general, the ability to deal with no. The ability to deal with rejection, which is, I think, what has made me a successful salesperson, because it becomes more of a numbers game, right? So, for example, and I looked up this data, I think last year over 2 billion T-shirts were sold. 2 billion, right? That's a lot of T-shirts of various different thoughts, suggestions, some good, some bad, whatever, right? Now, in that scenario, my son's a very logical thinker like I am. We don't need 2 billion people to buy our T-shirts. We just need about 100,000 of that. Give us 100,000 people. So if that's the number 100,000, and we start breaking down, opportunity, then the next question is, okay, where do we find 100,000? How do we get to them? We believe we have a solid line of T-shirts that's going to reach and many people across the country. All we have to do now is just focus on how do we reach the 100,000, right? So, but in doing that, you may have to speak to or reach out to or engage, a million people to find 100,000. So in many cases, that's a lot of rejection for some people. But if you understand the process, you understand the numbers, you understand that every person that you interact with professionally or personally may not feel or roll with what you're saying or who you are, and you walk into that scenario understanding that, then the rejection is really nothing other than, that's just the wrong person for me, right? Personally. Or, that person just wasn't the right person to buy this T-shirt, right? So at 20 years old, I say he's a upcoming junior in North Carolina A&T, 3.5 GPA, just had
All right.
grades, four A's and 1B. So he's doing big things. He's always been about his work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that going through this process, Mark, and of course, you have a son and a daughter, right? And I wish I had a daughter, but it just didn't work out for me. But I'm speaking to the choir when I'm speaking to you, just that idea of being a father and seeing him grow, and then having the opportunity to kind of, at this age, still work with him and help grow something together. It's exciting. I just flew in from Tampa, Florida. I was down there for some meetings, and but while I'm at the airport, I'm texting him like, "Hey, there's some new T-shirts you're supposed to send to me, so I can kind of check them out, so we can kind of keep moving this thing forward." He said, "My fault, Dad. I'm shooting over to you right now. I'm having some problem with the software. I'm gonna clean it up. I'll get it over to you." 15, 20 minutes later, text came back. I just put them in your inbox. Please review. Let's discuss later. So he's learning, responsibility. He's learning deadlines that need to be met, right? And that met, then there's a reason that you need to give a reason as to why, right? He's learning to get things done. And to just build something. He has 2 more years of college, but that gives us 2 more years to build up this. Well, when he gets out, if it's to where I want it to be, yeah, you can go work for somebody else, but you're making so much money and you're living your dream doing your own business, right? So I'm excited. I really am excited about that.
Dude, you hit on all the points. And I think I remember having Marcellus. He's the, if you watch the show we've talked about before, he is the reason there's even a King's Conversation thought, right? When during pandemic, when he was caged in with me or I was with him, however it was going down, somebody was going to die up in here in this apartment because he graduated, home for spring break, went back. So we sitting here chopping it up, and then all of a sudden he just wanted to have conversation. He wanted to talk. It's like, yeah, we're going to get something to eat. That's code for he needs to talk. So the Nash, I'm on the deck, cigar dipping. He got a cigar, and we're talking. I mean, we're in. No holds barred, no filter, no question is off the table.
Right.
And we went forward. And for 8 months, I was able to pour in a different level of nourishment, if you will. Right. We've been pouring in all the time. That doesn't stop. But it was a different level. And I hear that. I know your son, because you've been daddy on the spot since I've known you, which is always amazing. That's that's a king stuff right there, right? We're getting our kings ready for the next level, but 60% is work that we do. 40% is them showing up and watching us do the work, and then being able to walk with them and do it. You're not telling him anything new that he doesn't know, because he's been watching for 20 years. He's just now making the dots and the connections and how to apply again this skill set you've been giving me, because I'm not sure what it is, but when I get there, I'm sure I can figure it out. And more importantly, I know I can call you and you're going to give me what I need. Right? He's over there, A&T, over there, Aggie Pride. This is almost Morehouse. I tell you what, it's a whole cult with them Aggie Pride people. Anyway, and now he's doing his thing, which is what you want, right? So when was that moment like when you sat down with your now 20-year-old son, not the 12, 15 to 17, not the moments we had to hem him up and put him on the wall, not that moment, but the moment where you go, yo, he's about to be grown up in here. When was that? When did that happen?
Well, I mean and I want to answer that, but something you mentioned that I wanted to touch on real quick, if I can.
Go ahead, bro.
The conversation between you and your son and King's Conversation. One of the things that I think makes that so special, and I'm sure 100% those conversations between you and your son is the transparency and the vulnerability as a man, right? Right. Well, so when you say it gets, we got deep, right? That's that transparency, right? Where that transition, to kind of go back to your question, where I'm dad, but I'm also a man, right? And I had a life before you were born, and I had success, I had failure, I had all these things that have happened, and I'm putting it all out there for you, son, right? And I've always had that type of relationship with my son, where no matter what age, I always wanted to reinforce the idea that, you know what, there's nothing you can tell me that would make me think anything different other than you, than how I feel about you, right? There's nothing. I want to keep the level of conversation open 100%, because even though you're 20, right, and I'm 47 now, is the fact that I've seen so much that I still have to share with you, right? So the moment would be really when he first went off to college, where it was just like, it's real now, right? This is he's in college, and I remember. So one of the things that me and my son do is every Sunday we have a conversation. So every Sunday at 3:00, he knows that I'm gonna FaceTime him, and we're gonna get on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes, and that conversation is, how was your week? Tell me something good, tell me something bad. If it is that, right? And I do the same thing. Son, I traveled here, I did this, and we just kind of give a quick rundown, and then what do you have coming up this week? And I remember his freshman year, and he's away from home, right? And we live in Charlotte, so he's hour and a half away from the house, right? No big deal. I can get down there in a moment if I need to. But I asked him, I said, so what are you not telling me? He got quiet for a second. I said, yeah, I mean, you telling me some good stuff, which is cool, but what are you not telling me? And he said, all right, Dad, well, I tried weed for the first time. All right, how was it? Again, there wasn't no, you tried weed, whatever. No, it was like, how was it? Okay. Again, there's nothing you can share with me that I'm going to have any type of reaction other than love and understanding and a conversation. And his response was, I didn't like it. And I told him, I've smoked weed 4 times in my life, and it was all in college, right? Haven't smoked weed since college, and I didn't like it either. All right. I remember me and my my roommate at the time, we had never smoked, and we ended up trying it out in college. You try things, and he liked it. I didn't. Right. And then, we're still, we're friends to this day. We played ball together in college. And we just kind of discussed it. We also discussed, you have to understand, where did this come from? Is it laced with something? These are the things that you need to worry about if you try to do it again, because it can, really have some negative effects on your body, right? If you choose to. But it was never I'm condemning you. Why did you do that? No, none of that, right? Because you're a freshman in college now at this point in time. We got to have these type of conversations. Nothing's taboo.
Have to. I mean, again, I think, again, the response that we as kings give our little young princes at the point and make them into kings, our response will dictate how they come back to us.
Yes, exactly.
What the? Are you kidding me? We'll see. If he's trying to keep something from me, I need to try this again. I ain't gonna tell that brother not another thing.
Because I don't want to get that response from my father.
Right. So here's my boy. I'm about to tell all his business. He graduating. He had a little grab party, whatever. We in the area where, let's just say, the affluent make things available for their children. Right. That's what's around here. Hey, come here. Everybody's at my house. It's fine. Take him to the crib and final words, bruh. If you need me to come, call me. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Regardless of circumstance, call me. Well, I got the call. I said, straight up. I said, oh shit. So I jumped up, ran over there. He's walking around. There was cars everywhere, but there was nobody out. I'm like, what happened? Well, everybody had been drinking, so they made somebody come pick him up and left their cars. So he was not feeling well. We picked him up. I was like, I had a little bit. I said, what were you drinking? He started talking Nash. He was like, I don't know. I said, oh, you don't know? I said, did you leave? We go into the, I need to know. Oh, okay. No. I said, okay, you had some 190 grain alcohol. Yeah, we're going to get some grease in your stomach here. Going to sit you down, get you ready to go. So he was like, next morning, when he woke up, when he got the car, he goes, you didn't say, I said, what is there to say? You did what I needed you to do, which was to call me.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank period. The number one thing is I need to get you home, then we can be good. But that continues that conversation, that trust level. So,
Sure.
you know, we talk about that. You know, you got to have that conversation of trust and be willing to share stories, because then you got a story. Hold on, let me get to the Rolodex here. I got 50 plus.
I got plenty of stories.
1982. Here's what happened. But then I go, last week, this is what I'm down to bros.
Yes.
So we show them that we're real and it's there, but then we also have to show them like the consequences and the choices and decisions that we got to make. And I think that's, you know, what was important. And, you know, it's that relationship. And I know we call it King's Conversation. A lot of females on the line and listen and hope they share this information. They try to, maybe they're raising a man child, understanding some things, or they got a daddy who's around, or maybe ain't trying to let them get around. I mean, I'll encourage anyone to listen to this point, if it's amicable and workable, all things being equal, please let your child be with their daddy as much as possible.
Oh yeah,
it's imperative. It's imperative. Again, extremes to the side. If there's any other thing, you got attitude with him, and this is coming from a divorced man, so I understand. I'm just telling you right now, it ain't whatever y'all dealing with. That's not the extremes. That involves your children, your daughter, and your son. Let that shit go, because the king needs to be present to do what the king got to do.
I just remember, even to this day, you know, raising my son and looking at him, and he's just staring at me, just staring, right? And without nothing's happening, he's just staring, and he's taking me in, how I move, how I react to things, right? My conversation, right? I'm a little bit more extroverted compared to my son, who's more of an introvert, but we're similar in so many different ways because of that influence, right? Because of raising him. And it's funny, as you know, kind of preparing for this conversation, and I really started looking at nature versus nurture, right? And you know, and everyone can kind of side from one. I believe there's a combination of both, but the nurturing part is if I took Mark Wiggins and completely rewound your life to birth, but instead of raising you in Cleveland, Ohio, or being born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, I put you in Utah with in a different environment,
right,
with different parents. I'm not going to get the Mark Wiggins that we know and love today. I'm going to get a different Mark Wiggins.
Absolutely.
Because of the environment that you will be raised in will be significantly different, right? And that's saying that the alternate Utah Mark Wiggins would not be a success. You would just be different, right? And so when I look at my son, and just, you know, the role I've had in raising him, I put a lot into him without even knowing, right? I put a lot into him just simply because of being in his life, being in his presence, and then taking to another level of having these type of conversations that you and I are talking about, from 5 years old to 10 years old to 12 years old, and so on and so on. And they never stop. There'll never be a time where he is older than I am. Right. And again, transparency, there's some things that I'm sure at some point he'll be able to teach me. Right. I'm always open to learn. That's something I wanted my son to adapt as well, which I believe he has, is being a lifelong learner. Right. Always curious and want to just get better, smarter, faster. Right. Problem solving, which is also I think a very important trait to have in this world, no matter what your profession is. Right. To be able to solve problems. And really that's what I do, you know, is I'm a problem solver. I see a problem and I figure out a way to get past it, whether it's in sales or whether it's growing this new, you know, this re-energized business that me and my son are doing with fundraising and, of course, public speaking, and combining those two worlds together. It's, you know, that nurture is is what we have really done, myself, you, and other fathers across who are listening. Doing that is paramount in their success.
It's absolutely paramount. I think, Nash, what growing up, I'm a little fuzzy on the fact. Your father, what was the relationship like with your father when you grew up?
Oh, it was great. It was great. So my mother and father, they divorced when I was maybe 8, maybe 9 years old. I have an older sister who lives here in Charlotte, in the area as well. She's about 4 years older than I am. But our father was always there. And I remember my mother. She tells this story, and it kind of I never forget. My father's no longer with us, but my mother. So my father, paid child support and things of that nature. And he always got up to work, former military, right? And he always was there for us. And it was one time where he had paid the child support, but my mother needed more. Right? Maybe some shoes I needed or whatever. You and I both played basketball, coming up through the ranks. And my mother will always say that no matter what my mother asked for, my father would bitch and moan. Like, what? I just paid this, da-da-da. Maybe they have a little back and forth or whatever. By the next day, here comes his check. No matter what. Because he was there as a provider, whether they were together or not, to support my sister and myself, right? And those type of stories always have been with me, and it shaped me as a father as well. And it goes back to no matter what my son says, happens, or whatever have you, I'm always going to be there, right? Whether I like it or not. That's just my role as a father. And another thing that, you always know about a person's true intentions when they don't have time to think, right? So, true story, my father had these scars on his back. And those scars came from being on Kinsman, right? Kinsman, Cleveland, Ohio. And the car broke down. I am 5 years old, 6 years old at this time. And the radiator was hot. Father gets out. I got the car too because, I'm going to be with my dad. And my father starts to check the radiator in the car. It's up. When he did that, the water squirted. Hot water, mind you. Directly at me. Now, I'm talking about splits of seconds. That water surprised him. He threw his body in between myself and the hot water. That water would have hit me right in the face. Instead, hit him in his back. I remember that vividly, right? Instinctively. That's my son. That's hot water. That's his face. Forget it. My back is about to be scarred then, right? And so that's, those stories, my father did some entrepreneurial type stuff as well, right? I remember getting up, sleeping downstairs when I'm in high school and I just fell asleep on the couch, and my father at 4 or 5 in the morning, in the kitchen because he's about to go to work. Got a mortgage to pay, a family to take care of, right? I remember, him vividly saying to me, all right, I'll see y'all later, right? Or get up and go, get upstairs, go to bed. You fell asleep on the couch, again, that type of deal, right? So, yeah, I think for you and I, your son, my son, those who are hearing us, it's about the life we give them. And then eventually when he has kids, he's going to do kind of something similar, right? Because he has that nurturing.
Dude, see, this is why you Mr. Nash on the microphone, you be telling stories about, I'm like, really, for real? It's all engaging. And just driving points, man, as you're talking, or you start flashing back to your interaction with your son and me and my dad. I talk about him all the time in books and whatnot, about that relationship. He drugged me literally everywhere. And that's exactly what I did with my kids. It was a rare moment if you saw me out somewhere that I didn't have 1 and 2 on me coming through, or my son, and all that kind of stuff, because you get those exposures in those moments. And you're right. They get to see us be that superhuman thing that's in our eyes about our dad. I had Superman. What they don't see is like, I can't get off this couch. my back hurt. You know what I'm saying? They about to cut these lights off up in here in Cleveland. You gotta get out. They don't get to see none of that, but all they see is this thing. And look here. It's all smoke and mirrors. There's some real pain behind this. But the realness of it is that we can go back and talk about it, explain to them the whys, right? There's a reason why you're not going to do this. The reason why I said that. The reason why I let you do this. The reason why I'm about to knock you flat on your back. There's a reason, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
But they get those calls, man. Even in a divorce situation, I got one of those calls. Like, you need to come get your son. I said, oh, for real? Man, I got there. I got to the house. She's like, it's okay, it's okay. I said, what happened? She told me what happened. I said, okay, I got it. So next time he was over at the crib, I'm reading the paper. He's chilling. Next thing I looked up Nash, he was looking up at the ceiling, up close. And I said the following things. I said, if you ever flex at your mother, again, don't worry about it. I'm coming.
It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
Furniture moving up in here.
Right. It's going to be a problem. Why is it a problem? And he's like, oh, my God. I said, because he needed to understand something. It doesn't matter about me and hers. It is because I already have a mother. That's yours, right? You got to do these things. And as over time, you keep pushing that and keep pushing that and keep preaching that. And more importantly, you keep watching. They got in the car. We rode to Cleveland to see my mom. They get in the car. Why are we getting? I'm going to my mom. I'm going to my mom. I'm calling my mom. I don't have to keep saying it if we're doing it. And that's just the thing about it for the Kings out here. We modeling our behavior because they are watching, right? The daughters and the sons got to keep watching. And that has a huge, huge impact, especially in today's environment. It's imperative. So much popping. So that's what's cool, though, man. This is dope. I just love the fact that, again, you're doing your thing down there, especially with your son and having those moments to do business and teach them. You teach them more than making T-shirts. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
He will value the time and is valuing the time because you get phone calls. Like I said, you get that call, a text, texting, and he calls. Oh, hold on. I don't care what you're talking about. The boy is calling me, right?
Oh, yeah.
The boy is calling. Hello.
I'm in the meeting, stepping out. Yep, no doubt.
Right. Conversation is 62 seconds. He don't talk long. But again, it doesn't matter. My daughter should call. Hey, I don't care what you're talking about right now. Baby girl's on the phone.
Yeah.
To this day, and she's 25, you're 23, don't matter. That's the impression that we've got as kings and to do this thing and we're in this kingdom. So the encouraging thing is, and what we're doing as encouragement is to make sure that to the fathers out here who are doing those things, it does matter, right? It does matter. It will show up later. Do not stop. Do not quit. Even in like I said, even in a divorce state, one of the things I had to do. We moved to the every other weekend dad. I was a week dad, and then it became every other weekend dad. I ain't like that. And so my daughter started playing basketball. And then I was like, Dad, they need a coach. I don't coach girls basketball. Where the paperwork at? I get to see you 2 times a week on Saturday. I'm taking it. Right. I'm taking it. I'm travel teaming it. I'm with the travel team. I'm whatever. I'm getting my time in. I don't care what the arrangement was. I'm getting my time in. It was necessary. So we got to make sure we do those things. Bet. All right, so Nash, we'll move into our topic for tonight. I got 3 questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
First topic is advice on raising a young king. What are you telling kings out here listening, telling moms of sons about raising a young king?
Again, honesty, right? Be completely honest, because if you want these young kings to be honest with you, you have to be honest with them, right? And I think that's, we talked about transparency earlier on in our conversation. I think that's so important, right? Because if I'm able to create that type of relationship with my young king, right? That's what I want, right? And because they're more apt to, when things, they do something, let's face it, stupid, right? You're young, dumb, right? You're learning, right? Everything, you come in this world knowing everything. They're more apt to share that information with you, and there's no surprises. So transparency and just being honest with them. You know what? I don't have the money right now, but I'm working on it, right? Well, yeah, I did fail, right? Whatever the scenario may be. And that's negative as well as positive. right? I've done some great things and I've done this, but to be honest with them, this is a question, how can you expect someone, especially your son, to be honest? And they're not stupid, but to be honest with you if you're not being honest with them. All right. And I think that is, it builds a strong foundation for me and my son, and your young kings out there. So just be honest. If you're a single mom, be honest with them, because it creates an environment of not you versus me. It creates an environment of you and me against the world, right? Because I got your back. I know you have my back. So that's the advice I would give: being honest and transparent.
Honest and transparent. All right. So my advice on raising a young king is pressure, consistent pressure. And I'm not talking about pressure to get the A's in class. No, I'm talking about consistent pressure to do things. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. How's it coming? Where are you going? What are we doing? What'd you get that done? What's the next step for you? That constant pressure of letting them know there's an expectation to be met.
Right.
There's an expectation that I have for you to be met. I'm not just letting you out here being all willy-nilly. You will have to be responsible. You will be accountable for what you do or don't do.
Right.
So when it comes to raising kids, it's too easy to let our young. I see it. I worked with a part-time job and I work these young guys who are cleaning, whatever, and I see some stuff. Brock, I just can't help. I'm always talking to these kids. I'm like, bro, for real? You're making almost $30 an hour and you really can't get here on time? Are you serious right now?
Right.
I'm out here cleaning these toilets. I said, Ann, did you not understand who you just walked past? Do you not understand who you just saw over there? You have access, but you don't even know what to say. That kind of consistent talking and pressure to uplift them, not to push them down, but to encourage them moving forward. So my advice is, you raising a young king out here, dads, moms, is keep that consistent pressure on them to move forward, because if not, they will stop and they will sit down. Again, dude, we know we're not lazy, we're just not engaged. All right, topic number 2. Top concerns for your young king.
Top concerns. Well, I mean, that's a loaded question, but I guess the best way. Exactly, right? No doubt, no doubt. Top concerns for my son, and I guess it goes along the lines with kind of what you shared, is continue to be you, right? We're so mixed up, especially with social media. Social media is so much stronger than, of course, years ago when you and I came up, right?
Yep.
And there's so much pressure to be something that you're not, right? So one of the things, that I'm putting together as far as a presentation for elementary and middle school and high school and even college students, is the idea of I love being me. Right. I think that's being erased from our young youth, whether it's male or female, because they need to keep up with the Joneses, or they want to, be a certain way for some type of likes and things of that nature. We're being our youth are being so much disconnected through social media. But I want to try to bring the understanding back that you have gifts. Everyone has a unique gift that they bring to the world. And the idea of, wearing something as simple as a t-shirt says, I love being me, right? And then what does that mean to you? Because it's different, right? Mark Wiggins loves being who he is. That's different than Damon Nash, who loves, because we're two different people. And that's okay. Matter of fact, that's the exciting part. Right? That you're so unique in yourself, that makes you special. Just like it makes myself special, makes your son, my son, your daughter special, because we have these gifts that we've been given. And the fact that we need to try to, conform to some type of other way to be accepted, no, you don't. If you continue to walk in your truth, whatever that may be, that's different from everyone else, you will find your tribe, right? You will find people who say, you know what? I love what you're doing. I want to be part of that. because you're being true to yourself and they're being true to yourself. And when you have two people who are being true to themselves, then you have a very unique relationship that's being put together.
Nice, nice. Yeah, my top concern for my young king is I don't want I want him not to wait as long as I did to engage his superpower.
Like that.
I want him to wait that long. I need him to see that he has it, learn to make it work for him, because like Cyclops had the eye, he had to learn how to work that thing before he just blow everything up. And him he was so highly beyond everything intelligent wise that things were boring to him, and he would of course play small, right? And playing small gets you nowhere, right? It gets you to the back and playing dumb down and all that. And again, I remember my dad saying those same things to me. You gotta stand up straight. Someone had said, make him walk straight, walk up, get chest, take chest out. But those things mean something now. I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about right now? And now that he's moved into, I think now his sphere where he's comfortable, he's able to move forward and get out there. You don't worry about what the next med student is doing. You handle your business. Right? This is no longer friends. This is competition. We are vying for top spots. We're vying for top jobs. We're trying to be the best we can be. We ain't got a lot of time for stuff. And so when I speak to him, we talk about those things, but I hear it start to flourish a little bit instead of come out. I was like, yeah, that didn't happen to me until probably I was in my 30s. If that, and I'm still working on it, because even today, so Mark, you don't understand how much juice you actually have, and people know, but I stop and look at it like, it's but you gotta learn how to wield that power, right? You can't be irresponsible with the power that you have. You gotta learn how to wield it. And that becomes those conversations of pressure and discussion and shaping. So my top concern for him and where he is over at Case is, like, do not wait too long to let them know how smart you really are. Because if you don't, they'll let you know what they think about you. Right? Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Topic number 3. Top advice for those raising a young kid.
For those who are raising a young kid, and I think it kind of goes into question number 1, or my answer to question number 1. It's just that, right? They're watching, right? From the time they're born to, again, I mentioned before, my son was always watching me. And I wanted to be, I wanted to make sure that I'm, of course, being honest with him again, right? And not only with what I say, but with my actions, right? No one's perfect, and it's okay to fail, but you have to get back up, right? So raising a young king, that's just it. It's okay to, deal with pain, but if you have pain, you're dealing with some type of pain, be transparent and let them know this is what I'm going through, right? And I think that builds a stronger bond, and the respect you get from, and you have some parents who, I don't need the respect. I'm the parent, yeah, you are the parent, right? And I'm not saying advocate, I'm a parent and I don't need, to be your friend, get friends. No, you can have an environment and create an environment, because you are the parent, right? Create an environment that there's mutual respect, right? Especially as they get older, in their teenage years and things of that nature, where there's constant, a respect between two individuals, right? The son as well as the father, right? So again, the advice is always be true to yourself. I love being me, right? And be completely honest and transparent with your young king. They will appreciate that. That will build a stronger bond, right? And you all can grow together as father and son.
Most def. My top advice is exposure. I think we need to make sure that our kings and our queens get exposure to a lot of different stuff. Once a mind is expanded, it can no longer return to its original form. But an unexpanded mind will stay in its original form and probably shrink a little bit. So getting them out, have them see things, take them to do places, do the non-normal stuff. I don't know about you, Nash, but I was a Boy Scout, made an always Star Scout, was in the band, was a junior deacon. I did. You got to go to church. Yes. But the lessons learned about doing different stuff. Again, exposure. My dad throw me on buses and drive me around the city. And here's how you drive. I'm driving a bus at 16. I popped the clutch. I believe the bus came up. I don't know. But it was those kinds of things made a difference when you start seeing something outside of what you normally do and outside of who you think you are based on where you about our environment. Me going to Utah versus Cleveland, right? I would eventually need to leave both of those places to see something else to balance out what I am and to expand. But if we don't take the time to expose our kids, if you're not taking them to the opera, if you're not taking them to country music, if you're not taking them to a rock concert, you grew up in the 80s with rock music. Why don't they know these music and songs? And then you go teach them the real history, where it came from. And you have different appreciation for what that is. So it's exposure. So if you're raising a young king, get involved in everything. I know we've got our chapter. We have our Kappa League program. And to have these young men sit in a room and see other Black men come in suit and tie and just put that impression on them. Not like suit and tie is the answer to everything, but what these men do for a living. And you would say, I can do that. I can aspire to that. They may not even seen it. We know they don't see a lot of us in the classroom. So, you put all them together, all these successful Black men in a room, it is intimidating. It's intimidating.
You're talking about nurturing. You're talking about nurturing.
You're talking about nurturing, right? You get in a room and you see other people, but all of a sudden you wonder, then your mind starts running, start asking, well, how did you get there? What did you do? You mean you like that too? You play video games? No, I play video games. I design them and I have my own company. Shut up. That isn't real. Right. Marcel's is sitting here playing games and playing. I said, Marcel's, are you going to do this? Dad's a pro. They're making big money. No, it's not. ESPN. Boom. It's all over. They're playing these games on ESPN. So I asked him, are you going to give the time and dedication to be that? Or this is a hobby?
Right.
Identify.
It takes time, effort.
If you're gonna go in, you know what I'm about to do. I'm got to be the coach, a trainer, get some screens up in here. We're gonna put this work in. If this is what you want to do. But it's about the exposure. So anyway, that's my advice for those who are raising kings and doing it out. All right, we're at the part of the show we do the King's Decree. The King's Decree is what you say, encouragement, word, and whatever you say is law. So, Mr. Nash, you will now give your King's Decree so everybody knows what you're talking about.
So, give me the King's Decree one more time. So, what is the King's Decree?
King's Decree is something that you say that is law. The decree is something the king says to somebody else. You want to encourage somebody, you want to motivate them. I just call it the King's Decree. So, basically, your parting shots, words of wisdom. How about that?
All right. There's a couple of things that I kind of have shaped who I am. Right. One of those things is, and it's more of a competitor because I'm a competitive person. Somewhere, someone else is practicing, and when they meet you in head-to-head competition, they will beat you. My background coming up, I played basketball, high school, college. So I always knew 5'10" point guard. There's point guards that I will eventually play. And for me, from a competitive standpoint, I didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what I was doing as far as practice, but I wanted to make sure that whenever we meet up, I was going to be prepared to compete and even win for that matter. Right. And that's that idea of constantly competing against a faceless person, right, has driven me to the success I've had, both professionally and even personally for that matter. Right. So that's something that's always shaped who I am. Right. Another thought that's always shaped who I am, and I believe is true. And the saying is, the real you is what you do when no one is watching, and what you stand for when everyone is watching. And if you really let that kind of sink in your soul, that's who you are. Right. Those two situations, what you do when no one is watching, that's who you are. And then more importantly, what you stand for when everyone is watching. So when everyone is watching, who are you going to be? Right? When there's misjustice, when there is, bullying, when you know this is wrong, do you shrink away or do you speak up and say, that's not right? Right? That's who you are. right? And for me personally, I always want to make sure that I'm being transparent with myself, honest with myself, and I know who I am, and I know I'm going to stand up for what's right. That's my king's decree.
It has been said, it is so. All right, so for my king's decree, I'm gonna take you back to a great speaker friend of mine who said the following thing. I'm gonna need you to spend 5 minutes in your success. It's 5 minutes in your success. That great speaker was Damon Nash. Said it decades ago. I don't jack that line and said all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm talking about is spending 5 minutes in your success, because if you're not going to spend any time on you, if you're not going to spend any time on what you want to be or visualize yourself being in that space, you probably won't get there like you think you're going to get there. I don't say you won't get there. You may not get like you get there. And when you get there, you may not know how you want to act because you didn't spend any time thinking about what the results would be or what they would look like. How you're going to walk in the room. How you going to get that check, that $1 million contract you just signed? What you going to spend your money on first? Who you going to talk to? What car you going to buy? What house you going to pay off? What you want for mom and them? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds trivial. It sounds like it's, that's just the dreaming. Yes, it is a dream. But see, because the mind can't separate reality from fiction, you can do what you need to do to make it happen. And that's what you're going to be doing. You should be able to do this so much so that you feel it in your soul, your whole essence. Your body should tingle, your blood pressure should rise. You could possibly break out in a cold sweat. That's how strong your mind is. So my decree is simply this. If you're claiming success, you claim you want to get there, you claim you want this off-the-bench lifestyle, then dream about it. Dream about it. Dream about it big. Make the dream so big that it absolutely scares you. And then figure out a way how to do it and get up off the bench. That is my decree. It has been said, and it is so. So, all right, Nash, man, I appreciate you, man. Go ahead and give people your website information one more time. Where can we get the shirt? Where's my dang on shirt? And we can go from there.
So we're relaunching in September. So we're going to relaunch our company in September. We're working on the website. It's up and running, but the store needs to be put in play or active live, right? But everything else is pretty much done. So we're really excited. So the website is www.influencefundraiser.com. And really, there's three things that we're tackling that you're going to get out of this website, right? So there's a fundraising element, right, for elementary, middle school, and high schools, where we will actually come in and do the entire fundraising. We have all of the documentation from beginning to end. And on the website, it says, where can you actually get a professional speaker to come in and actually make money for your school, right? These are greatly needed funds. So by selling the T-shirts, the school gets the funds, and then we come in and we speak at no additional cost on the topic of your choosing. Now, we have, of course, topics that we've spoken to students about throughout the country. But if you have a specific topic, maybe a message for your particular school that you want to get out there, through my tag program, Thoughts, Actions, and Goals, we can actually bring that in to really support the message that you have for your students. So imagine all your students walking around with I love being me t-shirts, or never settle, or I'm stronger than my situation. These positive thoughts, right? Walking through your entire school, and you're raising funds. That's one element of the website. The second element, of course, is I've been speaking at colleges for over 20 years, right? And I think I have a pretty good presentation when it comes to freshman student new orientations, right? So we're putting our information out there, we're emailing, and we want to make sure that we're available. So you can go to our website, see information, see video, and then, of course, contact us through the website where we can come out there and actually set up your students for success in college. And the last piece of it, of course, is the t-shirts, right? These are t-shirts you can buy directly from the website, right? So you can actually utilize the influence t-shirts. Again, this is new energy, right? The t-shirts of the old are no longer there. There's a new energy, new designs, but it's still the same positive message. So again, that is influence, Influence, fundraiser.com. Come visit us. Send them a message. I'd love to hear from you.
Most def. We'll go back and add that into the show notes in the chat line for you, Nash, or you can do it afterwards. Come in and put it in there so it can be out there for people to see. Again, I just appreciate you, brother, coming on and sharing your heart. This deep conversation. Again, I highly have a much respect for you than over the decades, literally over the decades.
Same here.
Doing what you do. Again, out here motivating people, talking and speaking and doing. It's just, we're not going to stop. So let's just get better at it and keep moving, keep pressing. So I appreciate you again for joining us on the show. And we'll be in touch. I definitely want to get you involved in the King Conversation book project.
Yes.
I think that's be something definitely. It's an easy win for you. We'll have that ready and get that moving out. I'll reach out to you for that. All right. All right, cool. So thank you for that. And as you know, as we wrap this down, as you know, as always, if you can reach your dreams with a step ladder, then they're probably too low. I'm out. Happy Father's Day. It's still time to take out your baby daddy for dinner. That's all I got to say. I'm out.